welcome back to Party XP. That's right, I'm alive. You tried.
Woo!
You tried, but you couldn't get rid of me.
I fucked up.
Yep. Your assassins failed. All your efforts have failed. I'm back to take my podcast back
I cannot replace you, apparently.
from you and your other your doppelganger.
Doppelganger Jeff.
Yeah. But oh god, here we go. Now you got me. I'm
Right
dying.
off the bat. Leaving it in. The poison's finally kicking in,
Good.
boys.
Yep, they got him. They got me. No, but I figured, look, it's the baby's in good hands. I figured it's time. I need to do something fun for once.
Yeah.
So you and I talked to each other a little bit, and we're gonna do a fun little episode here for everybody.
Yeah, and we're in person again, finally.
Yeah. It's nice to see a human that isn't my child and my wife and my cat and my mother-in-law and my parents.
I like how you're putting your cat in the human category right off the bat.
He's basically a child
Yeah.
at
How,
this point.
how are things actually, by the way, with the cat and the baby? Are they like, is your cat curious or is kind of avoiding the baby?
So baby's good, first
Okay,
and foremost.
good, yeah.
Everything turned out well with baby and mom. Everybody's home. We're
Very good to
doing
hear.
really well.
Yeah.
As well as not sleeping through the night and things like that. Typical normal baby stuff. But Cat has been good. Cat has been a little apprehensive at first. He has been more and more curious and has engaged with the baby a little bit more and more over the last couple of days. So that's been good. There's no situations where we're going to have to like rehome him. Or
Yeah,
anything
that's
like
always
that.
kind of like makes you a little bit nervous, right?
Yeah.
I've heard enough stories of friends having kids and like they have a dog or something and they're just like aggressive towards the
Yep.
baby and it's like, oh, it's sad.
Yeah, a friend of mine had that happen.
Oh
to
yeah,
her. Yeah.
That's rough.
It
That's
is. It's
terrible.
tough. It's very tough. But luckily, we don't think the cat has the temperament to have to do all that.
Good.
So that was good. But otherwise, everything's been good. I've been trying to do a little bit here and there,
Mhm.
as far as enjoying myself and remembering to take some time for myself. It's tough
Good. Yeah.
with little man around. But,
How's your how's your sleep?
my sleep is okay because my wife has taken the bullet for the
Yeah.
sleep because I'm still working. She's
Okay.
off till September.
Okay.
So, it's been hard for her to sleep. I've been trying to do my best to pitch in where I can.
Mm.
Hopefully, I'm going to have an opportunity here to help her get some sleep. And,
Good.
I talked to her about it today. I was like,
Yeah.
are you sleeping enough? Are you okay?
Yeah.
But otherwise, like, we are as good as we can be with, a 4-week-old, 1-month-old,
There you go,
actually,
yeah.
as of yesterday.
Oh, there you
infant.
go.
So, but it's been fun. He's cool.
Good.
It's really like a unique experience. I never, obviously I was never really around newborns or kids
Yeah.
growing up. So this is really my first interaction with it, but it's really cool. It's been really like a fun experience, and my emotions are all over the place with it. Just kind of thinking back to when I was younger, right, and our parents and stuff like that, and it's been sort of like a roller coaster, but all in all, it's been fun. It's been a lot of fun, and I can't wait for him to start to get a little older and interact with things
Mhm.
now. And he's starting to kind of interact with things and the things that I say to him.
Grabbing things too as well, physically as well too,
Yeah.
right?
And responding to like his name, responding to me like singing "Twinkle Twinkle Little Star," which is like his jam.
Mm-hmm. I like how that's like me singing it specifically. That's like
Right.
that's the one he like really likes. And
Right.
so far.
Well, no, he likes the one on the Chinese YouTube channel that my wife found.
Oh, okay.
But when in lieu of that,
Yeah.
Dad has to step in and sing "Twinkle Twinkle Little Star" sometimes.
If you need, let me know. I will record another copy, another
Yes.
version of Twinkle Twinkle Little Star
Sure,
for you.
thank you. But
Or we
otherwise,
can record you so that we have it on like ready as like a soundboard for the baby. And just be like, crying, I got you right here.
I'm
Just
not
click
home.
and then boom. Here you go.
and then
Calm
we
the
hit
baby
the,
down.
and then we hit the wrong sounder, and it's just me talking about farting on people's balls or whatever.
Just Mastodon, just playing,
Yeah, right.
just full volume.
Hey, you never know. You might like it.
Yeah, maybe. Hopefully, right?
Yeah, hopefully.
I'll get a pretty nice, diverse music taste here.
Here's hoping.
Yeah, but that's awesome. That's good to hear. I mean, like, because I know in the chat, like, it's been relatively like you've been relatively quiet because obviously you're dealing with daddy duties.
Yeah.
And take the advice from me, another man who doesn't have children and has no idea what he's talking about. I've heard like early like from other friends, who have also had children recently, is that I think like early on it's mostly like the mom taking care of things anyway, like because the baby like literally has to be with mom for feeding and all, and all those other things. And of course, you're helping out with like diaper time and feeding, and well, I mean, like again, not right now because I'm assuming that she's still like yeah, she's still breastfeeding at this point. No
No.
formula.
Yeah, we are doing formula. We
Okay.
are doing breast milk. He doesn't take to
No.
the breast, so
Okay.
we have to bottle feed
Okay, gotcha.
with breast
Yeah,
milk
yeah,
though.
yeah.
So he's still getting all the nutrients.
Okay, good. Okay.
This is very personal talk here, so forgive us.
Yeah, or we may cut this out. Depends on how we feel about it, honestly.
Whatever.
Okay, whatever.
But no, so like I do try to step in whenever I possibly can. Work has been a little day job has been a little hectic since I got back. Hopefully things will kind of quiet down a little bit here now,
Okay.
which will be good.
Good.
But we pitch in where I pitch in where I can.
Yeah,
and try
absolutely.
to take care of things. But other than that, yeah, I mean, so what you're saying, I think, is where you're headed. Is the first like 3 months are tough.
Yeah, basically,
Uh-huh.
like, and especially on mom. Like that's like that's like the difficulty that I've heard from multiple young parent friends of mine.
Right.
Like my kuya Norm had a baby recently. My coworker Matt, his brother had a baby recently, and then a couple other friends actually now from college now that I remember. I
Right.
just got back into contact with. All of them had like within the last like 6 months. There's like 4 babies, like 4
Yeah.
or 5 babies now. I was like,
Cool.
oh shit, okay.
Yeah.
And they've all I've kind of heard like the same, not complaints, the same acknowledgments from
Right.
like all of them is like, okay, yeah, the first 3 months, early on, is very much so like on the mom. And
Mhm.
of course it's your job to help out as much as we can
Right.
possibly, aside from as well too.
Right.
But yeah, that's it's like it's intense. I'm sure
It
it's you said it's a brand new experience, but you're kind of jumping in and you're helping whatever you can, right?
Yeah.
It's good. It's awesome. It's good to hear.
Yeah, it is definitely a challenge, but it's been a lot of fun too.
Mhm.
So
It's good
Can't
to hear.
complain.
Yeah, and again, it's good to see you again.
Yeah, right.
I'm surprised you don't have the bags under your eyes. It's I mean, like it's not. You look human.
Yeah.
It's like it's always the in cartoons or like in TV shows where they always show like the new parent is always just like a skeleton or like like a shell of their former self because they haven't been sleeping or anything like that. But yeah, you look good. You look good. Like,
Oh,
you're taking care
thank
of it.
you.
Everything okay?
Thank you. I thank my wife for that.
Yeah. Yeah, she's doing good though. Maria's doing
Yeah,
good.
she's doing good.
Okay, cool.
She
Good to
is.
know. And she's with the fam right now, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
they're all over there now, so that's
Yeah.
good.
How happy are your parents? Of
Very.
course, to finally have a grandson, right?
Yeah, very happy. They were over last night.
Oh, word.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they were over last night,
Cool,
so that
cool.
was pretty cool.
Okay, that's awesome. It's good to hear.
Yeah, man.
So yeah, back to Party XP
Yeah.
with Jeff and Lakan in person. By the way, I don't know if you can hear through the audio quality or our interactions or whatever. I'm touching his toes currently.
Yep.
And
Playing footsies.
and yeah, we're just kind of here to kind of do a little bit of catch up. Again, we just had nice little personal talk here about Jeff and his family and his life goings right now. My life's cool. I found a lost sock that I misplaced like 3 weeks ago.
I also found a sock today, so that was good.
There you go. So my life's going pretty good right now too. Yeah, I mean, so we're gonna do a little bit of a talk here. Something a little more kind of conversational. We're just gonna shoot the shit for a little bit. Again, we haven't seen each other like in person for a while either. I haven't had a chance to come over to see the baby yet either. But we want to talk about because I've noticed it on myself, and I was assuming Jeff was probably the same way because again he's dealing with being a dad now, right? I want to talk about our personal gaming habits recently and how we kind of come into what kind of gaming phases we go through, like through our gaming experience essentially. We'll start with you first, right? Again, you're
Yeah.
pulling daddy duty. I'm assuming you don't have a whole lot of time to game, but are you still able to get any time in on anything at all, or?
So the big things that I have been playing, and you'll see this if you follow us on Twitter. I'm playing Dragon Ball Dokkan Battle on the phone, and I'm playing Street Fighter Duel on the phone.
Okay.
Phone games have basically kept me sane. As somebody that needs to, decompress and game every once in a while.
Yeah, yeah. It's like that's something you again like a lot of people say like gaming is like a waste of time, and I was like, for a lot of people, it's the way for you to like
Chill out.
and turn your brain off for a little bit and kind of just
Mhm.
like not think about stresses in life for a
Yep.
little bit. So that's okay. Yeah, I have noticed it as well. You've been posting your not gameplay. What's the word I'm looking for?
My polls?
Your polls. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So if you're listening to this, I have now 2 consecutive copies of the new Piccolo World Tournament character. I'm very excited about that. No Goku's yet, but I got Piccolo, so that was pretty cool. And that's kind of been, with baby in one arm, I'm able to at least play Dragon Ball with the other hand. The other thing I've really been able to dig into lately, which I'm very happy about, is the Street Fighter 6 demo.
Mm.
I have played a butt ton of it.
You got in?
because It's an open demo.
Oh, it's an open it's an open
It's a
demo
demo.
now. Oh,
It's a
okay,
demo.
okay.
Mm-hmm.
Because I thought it was the closed beta
Nope.
thing. Okay, cool. Word.
Nope. So the demo is out. You can do the single player world tour mode, and then you can do kind of like the single player fights and things like that in the demo.
Mm-hmm.
Luckily, Ryu's one of the characters, so obviously it made sense for me to see what my character can do.
Yeah.
It's been a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to say it's kind of in the middle of Street Fighter 3, Street Fighter 5. If that child, so like if Street Fighter 3 or Street Fighter 5 had a child, and that child got really into Guilty Gear,
Okay.
is kind of where we're at with Street Fighter 6. It's a
Gotcha.
lot of fun. It's really cool. Playing it on PC is a way different experience than playing it on PS4. I'll tell you that. Game's beautiful.
How different is it actually then?
It just looks better.
Okay.
It just looks so much better on PC than it does on PS4.
Because I'm trying to think back to Street Fighter 5, and I guess I guess I didn't really notice it.
No, yeah.
But maybe because I also wasn't paying that much attention because I didn't really click with Street Fighter 5.
Right.
Maybe that's why.
I know, and not a lot of people did. But in any case, six has been a lot of fun. There's a lot of new flashy mechanics that are definitely going to take some time to dig into.
Yeah, I've seen a little bit of gameplay of it, and I think I mentioned it during the PAX recap episode, right? I got to do a little bit. I got to do like 2 matches with a random dude when I was there. But yeah, I played. The dude played Ryu, so I was like, well, I mean, I'm assuming I know what Ryu does, so I'm gonna go ahead and play Ken to see how different he is. And I also forgot that Ken was changed in 5, so I completely forgot about a bunch of things. But yeah, it did feel very much so kind of like that 3. Again, it feels like a refined version of 4 essentially to me. Like at least it's what I liked in terms of gameplay, with that extra spice that 3 did have, where where 4, because 4 was like the focus attacks, right? It was like that was kind
the
of
main
their
combat
main
mechanic.
Yeah, 3 had the parry system, and was there anything else aside from that? Because I came into Street Fighter very late.
So you had now the introduction of EX moves.
EX
that was the first game.
yeah,
EX moves were in the super arts changed the gameplay, because if your opponent has a certain super art, you have to be on the lookout for it versus if they don't. Right. So that was kind of 3's thing, and that's kind of where I'm at with 6. Is that there's a lot of a focus on that mid-range game, the footsie game, because you have so many different options. With your the parry, and then you have the I don't know, I think it's called Drive Impact, where they wind up and you have the super armor and you just rock somebody. You have to worry about that, so you can't throw out limbs very haphazardly. You have to be conscious of throwing out your normals. Ryu has cool normals. I like them. His standing medium kick is like Evil Ryu's medium kick from Street Fighter 4, so it's like that standing kind of side kick.
Oh, okay,
that propels him forward just a little bit.
Yeah, because regular Ryu is just a straight up front kick, right?
Right, and he didn't move, but Evil Ryu's kind of propelled him forward.
Oh, you're right.
Bit.
Yeah, I remember now. Okay.
And that was really strong. Even Daigo has said, I watched some gameplay of him playing the level 8 CPU, which is like the big meme. I don't know if you've seen that.
No, not yet.
The big meme is that the level 8 CPU will wreck your shit. And even Daigo got his shit wrecked by the level 8 CPU.
So it's literally just like the AI playing perfectly, and you can't really do a whole lot about it, basically.
Right, because you figure the AI reads your inputs and knows exactly how to respond to your movement, right? So every time Daigo tries to throw out a limb, he would react immediately with the absolute perfect move and wreck his shit. He'd be like, "What is this guy doing?"
Okay.
It's like he's reading your inputs, pal. Like, I don't know how to tell you that.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay.
But anyway,
Sick.
so long story short, it's I'm happy. I'm very happy with Street Fighter 6. I don't know how much into the competitive space I'm going to get with it.
Yeah.
Which again, goes back to the gaming habits kind of thing that we'll touch on here in a little bit. But that is kind of like the big game, the big like actual AAA game that I've been digging into lately. The other game that I've been playing a lot of when I have the chance is Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze on Switch.
Oh, word.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I forgot they ported that over.
So I picked that up. I hadn't played it. So
okay,
I didn't have a Wii U.
Word.
So I picked it up on Switch right before the baby was born. I figured I needed something. Love Donkey Kong. And so far it's been a lot of fun. It definitely does present a different challenge than the older country games, because the mechanics are a little different, and I haven't played these games 800 times, so I don't know where everything is, and all of that, and trying to get used to the characters has been really interesting too. Like the Diddy mechanics and the Dixie and the Cranky Kong mechanics have been fun. So all in all, that's been a lot of fun. And I finished South Park. I was on the final boss fight for like a month.
Stick of Truth, right?
No, Fractured Butthole.
Fractured Butthole, okay.
Yeah, I finished Stick of Truth. I just finished Fractured Butthole because I was on the last fight. And then a friend of mine actually bought me DuckTales Remastered again when it was on
Oh,
sale for
word.
super cheap. I played it on PS3 originally.
Hmm.
I haven't played it since, and I kind of wanted to play it on, like the normal difficulty
Yeah.
because I played it on easy mode, baby mode, because I just wanted to beat the game.
Beat the game. Yeah, that's fair.
Right. So I've been trying to play through that when I have the opportunity too. But that's kind of been it. It's been a lot of, like you said, a lot of single player experiences. Even though Street Fighter technically is a multiplayer game, there's no online multiplayer component to it with the demo.
Got
So
it.
I've just been digging into training mode and just trying to
Learn.
play play a little bit, play around with combos and the mechanics and things like that, which is something I really like doing. Like
Yeah,
a
yeah.
lot of the fighting games I barely play online. I just like labbing. I just like doing the training mode. It's all I have time for most
Yeah.
days anyway. But
That's also like spoken like a true fighting game player, though. Like
I
you
do.
spend you spend a majority of your time in the lab, basically.
in training mode, yeah.
mode, yeah.
But that's where I have a lot of fun.
Which is why I'm not a true fighting game player, because I say screw that, I'll learn by fire.
Right, trial by fire.
Yeah.
You do the same 3-hit combo over and over again,
And hopefully it works until
Right.
until it works.
until you don't. But that's kind of been where
Yeah.
I've been at.
Okay, cool.
Since he's been around, and even before then, because we're still busy trying to get things ready. I'm still working full time and
Yeah, yeah.
freelancing with other side projects on the side too. So it was kind of tough to dig into a lot of things, but since then, I've gotten some time to do a little bit. And as he gets a little older and as things start to, once Street Fighter comes out in June, I'm definitely going to try to make some time there to play the game, but we'll see.
Word. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it sounds you actually got some good, some good video games actually under your hands, even with the hecticness that's going on, right?
Right. Yeah.
Like,
so-
I mean, like the mobile things, like I would assume, like, okay, you were able to do that still, because I know you're into you actually played like mobile games more than I do. I don't really play mobile games that
Yeah.
much, so it's like, but yeah, no, that's a good point. You can play them, kind of like one handed while you're still, actually, holding your child and doing stuff as well too. Quick little bursts of gaming,
Mhm.
basically, right? Which is very, very good for especially in your case, right?
Yeah.
And then the fact you actually got like Donkey Kong, which is a great pick up put down game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do a level, done. Okay, something going on with the
Exactly.
baby? No, okay, we're good. Chill. You're sleeping. Okay, good. I can do another level or get back to work kind of deal. But that's awesome. Fighting games, I guess same thing, right? You can kind of like play a match or whatever, right? Play a match or two, especially if you're playing mostly like online or whatever, or if you're even just like learning stuff in the lab. You're just spending that. Okay, let me see if I can get something under my fingers. If I do, good. If I don't, whatever. I'll move along, and then same thing. Just drop it if you need to. Something you drop at any moment to take care of things.
Right, and that's going to be the interesting thing is once the game comes out and you can play ranked. Am
Yeah.
I going to actually play ranked?
Yeah.
Because God forbid, if I'm in the middle of a match and it's getting intense and the baby starts crying, like,
Yeah.
what am I going to do? Am I gonna
Exactly. Yeah.
finish the match, or am I going to take care of my child? So that's kind of the interesting sort of dynamic that's going to end up coming here in a little bit, but. There's also an opportunity where it's just like, hey, he's asleep, or hey, he's at the doctor's office or something with mom, and I have 30 minutes to myself. Let me get a few games in, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good point. That's actually a genuinely good point. I mean, I guess if you're not able to play online, then you can spend your time trying to beat the level 8 computer, basically. Then, right? There you go.
Exactly. Or just lab, and then
Yeah.
once I'm able to start playing online, at least I have the fundamentals already.
Yeah,
installed
exactly.
and
So you have a
the muscle memory.
foundation already
Mhm.
to actually go in there and actually mess with somebody else, like online. And that's good.
Exactly.
Okay, cool. You actually got some decent games going on.
Yep.
Yeah, I've had a bit of a shift as well recently too. I'm sure Jeff is tired of me hearing it from me anyway, where I basically was playing Apex and Destiny nonstop for the
Mhm.
last couple months. I had gotten back into Destiny
Oh.
right before Witch Queen, or
Yeah.
right before what is it called? Lightfall. Now
Yeah.
is the new one. I haven't played it yet. I haven't bought it. But Witch Queen, I was wanting to finish it just in case they like vaulted it right before right when Lightfall came out. I finished all the stuff. I got my what is it? Solar. No, I finished Solar. My Arc 3.0
Mhm.
set up done, so that was cool. And then I was like, I don't really care about the weapons. I just kind of want to finish whatever little bit of story I haven't touched yet. Let me just get it over
Right.
with, kind of deal. Apex is a battle royale. I love just shooting shit and turning my brain off and just playing, basically. So that's that's great. Unfortunately, my group has kind of fallen apart at the moment because one of my friends is currently he had just moved here to Jersey from upstate New York, from Rochester,
Mhm.
and he's like busy looking for a job right now. So it's like I haven't been able to play with him for a
Yeah.
minute. Same thing. I'm still overnights. He's still during the day, so he does play with people. I see him occasionally playing it, but his crew is like a day crew. So it's like okay,
Yeah.
so that's fine. He can at least get it. He can still play his game. I'm not gonna fault him for finding new friends to play with, right? and my other friend has just been busy, so he just hasn't been playing anything apparently at all. I saw him playing a little bit of Battlefield 2042 or whatever the numbers are. And he was like, "It's still broken." It's just one of those things. He just puts it on so he can turn his brain off for a little
Yeah,
bit
of course.
and just shoot stuff. It's kind of like how people play Warzone, like
Yeah.
after work or whatever. Just turn your brain off, shoot shit, and then kind of 2 hour decompression session kind of deal. So because my friends have kind of like moved away from Apex, or at least not been playing with me anyway, because of life and things
Mhm.
getting in the way, I've been playing and shifting a little bit more to single player experience as well myself. Let's see here. For me, I've been playing a lot of Dead Cells again, which is I don't know if you ever mentioned Dead Cells in this. I've absolutely mentioned Dead Cells to
Mhm.
you.
Yeah.
But yeah, Dead Cells is it's a Metroidvania, a Castlevania like. Actually, it was more like Castlevania because you're using like mostly melee weapons, occasionally ranged weapons. And they had a big DLC recently with Castlevania, so
I
they
have seen this. I have seen this game. This
and
looks
it's
awesome.
it's so sick. I love this game so much. It's one of those games that I will actually say I haven't had a chance to actually put this opinion out there. I don't know if this is a hot take or not, but I think Dead Cells is better than Hades.
Ooh.
Yeah, and
Mm.
like if it's not better, then it is way more my speed than Hades
Yeah.
because I love how different each and every run feels.
Mhm.
Because there's the biggest thing with Dead Cells, there's a fuck ton of weapons in this game. Like there is an insane number of weapons in this game. Which because of how big the weapons pool is
Right.
and all the items and the skills, like actually no two runs feel the same unless you spend all your money re-rolling shit and just you lose your ability to do stuff later on in the game if you waste all your money. So like every run genuinely feels different for me in
Mhm.
this game. And I had just gotten to the point where I've beaten the game with 2 boss cells, which means I've gotten out the game to from normal. So normal 0 boss cells, 1 is hard, 2 is very hard
Ooh.
basically. I've just beaten the game on very hard. I still have 2 more to go.
Ooh.
And the game has gotten it is because it's funny because this like next step is actually beating my ass. Like I feel like bad at this game again. I was like, oh shit, like, I thought I was getting to a point where I was getting like competent. But that's the nice thing about this game. Like I like the fact that it's actually genuinely really
Mhm.
difficult. And but yeah, I just love the variety in this game. So I've been playing a lot of Dead Cells. Um, I'm playing a lot of rhythm games actually recently a
Mhm.
lot. I've been playing Rhythm Sprout,
Okay.
which is like just kind of like a 3-button rhythm game essentially. You play left, right, and like space to dodge, and the music's pretty good. I played it at PAX 2 years ago, I think it was. Just a fun little rhythm game. You play a little onion knight with a
Oh,
sword, and you just swing left and right, and you
cute.
just dodge. And yeah, the music's really good. The story's really cutesy, and the animation is really cute, and the story's kind of funny, and a little bit memey as well too on the side. So it's just like it's fun, really enjoyable. And Melatonin, I've been playing a lot of that one. I don't know if
Mhm.
you heard of this one at all.
I have not.
Melatonin is Rhythm Heaven.
Yeah.
It's lo-fi Rhythm Heaven. That's
Yeah.
basically what this game
That's
is.
pretty cool.
It's so sick. I was like, I have friends who were like playing it for a little bit. I saw a couple VTubers playing it, a couple YouTubers playing it, and I was like, how come I haven't heard of this game? And like, I'm gonna fucking buy this. I love Rhythm Heaven. I have it on the Game Boy Advance. I have the one on the Wii, and I was like, I absolutely gotta get this. And yeah, I've been like playing the hell out of it basically. Also perfect for the Steam Deck as well too. Like you just pick up on the go,
Yeah.
do a level or two, and be like, okay, well, back to whatever the hell I was doing, kind of deal, and go. But yeah, like I've been kind of dipping my toe back into rhythm games again recently.
That's fun. That's
Yeah,
cool.
and just because I need my like FPS slash movement fix, because again I'm not playing as much Apex as right now because my crew is kind of uh we've kind of like separated for a little bit just because again scheduling right. I've been playing this one recently. Well, I've actually played Titanfall 2. I got
Okay.
my brother to do the North Star mod, I believe it's called,
Hmm.
which is a way to change it instead of just looking for a group or looking for a game. You have an active server list,
Hmm.
so you can actually like just browse to see what games are populated or what game types you want to play. So my brother and I have been playing that a little bit on the side. And then I've been playing, for the movement fix that I was talking about. So remember I gave you Neon White for a little while
Yeah.
ago?
Mhm.
There's another game that I think if you had more free time, I would absolutely throw to you. A game called Cyberhook.
Okay.
So it's a first-person speedrunning game. Same thing kind of like Neon White, but instead of using cards and as like weapons and abilities, you have your left hand is basically in the shape of a gun, and you shoot stuff with it, and your right hand has a grappling hook,
Okay. I'm in.
and that's basically it. You just run fast as you can to the end. Um, it's pretty sick watching people play this game. Like it's the same thing as like watching like high level Neon White type of deal.
Mhm.
Like how do they fucking realize how fast? You ever play speedrunners?
No.
Okay, so speedrunners is like you basically just run as it's like a 2D platformer type of thing. You just outrun people, and by the way you kill people is by dragging their character off the screen.
Okay.
Okay, by running further than them because the person
Right.
in lead always has control of the camera essentially. This game is like 3D because you have a grappling hook. Your whole job is to go fast and find as many shortcuts as you possibly can, and that's basically what this game is. And I'm loving it. It's one of those things where I was looking for like a movement game. That's
Yeah.
basically what I was looking for, and it just showed up like on YouTube when I just looked up like top 5 movement games of like 2022 or 20 whatever, you know what I mean? And one guy who clearly knows what he was talking about, he's like a Titanfall 2 lover. I'm like, okay, so we're probably gonna have a similar ish taste here.
Right.
Talked about this, I'm like, this is absolutely up my alley, and
That's awesome.
yeah, it's just great. Just not turn my brain off because I have to think about like how do I go faster. That's basically all I'm doing. It's like a movement puzzle basically, and that's how I treat it. And I've been playing a lot of that. But yeah, again, as I said before, I've shifted from multiplayer games into like a single player
For sure.
setup for me right now. And again, so have you basically for the most part, or at least recently anyway,
Yeah.
right? But in terms of like gaming wise, because now that I'm shifted into to single player games, and so have you. What's your history? Do you come into phases? Do you go in and out? Do you go from like multiplayer to like fighting game? Do you go to shooters back to single player games, back to platformers and whatever? Like, what do you usually do?
So usually, at least so like early on, it was always platformers and fighting games, right? When I was younger, Super Nintendo era, N64 era, right?
Yeah, I
It
mean,
was
yeah, as
always kind of
kids,
like
that's all we kind of really had for the most part.
right platformers, action adventure,
And occasionally
then,
fighting
and
games.
then like a Street Fighter, obviously,
Yeah.
or like Killer Instinct or something like that. As I got older, I would throw sports games in there.
Okay.
It's really easy for me to kind of get like super into franchise modes and
Yeah.
just sit there for days upon days upon days and just tiring, like just going over my franchise forever. It's one of my favorite things.
Never understood it.
Yeah, I know.
I've like you met Chalk before, right?
I believe.
Yeah, friend Anthony. You and him, and because he has his whole family, like his like some of his cousins and his brothers, I believe, they play like the franchise mode and like play against each other kind of deal. And I'm like, man, y'all are so into this.
Yep.
Like I get to hear from you and other people, friends who actually play like the my career thing.
Yeah.
I'm like exhibition. That's all I want is just like let's just play. Let me play my team and play against you and see who wins. Basically, kind
I
of
know. So the big thing is like when you're really into a sport. So like I play a lot of NHL.
Yeah, yeah.
And so for me, it's like I'm not happy with the way that my team is. So the franchise mode is a way for me to build this team the way that I believe they can exist in the real world.
Okay.
To a point.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. So I think that's kind of where it is. And it's also a lot of fun too. Once you're done kind of making your team the 7-time Stanley Cup champion.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like you find this awful franchise and you make them a champion. You build them up. Or one of the other big things in the NHL games now is the expansion team. NBA also has this, where you do like an expansion draft and you take basically a bunch of cast-offs.
Yeah, yeah.
You build a franchise around them and then you have like a top draft pick. And that's your team for like the first year. So it's the challenge of trying to make that team competitive.
Got it. Okay.
And it's so much fun for me.
Word.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
literally all I do in NBA games. I mean, my basketball fandom has kind of waned a little bit. I still enjoy the sport, obviously. I'll watch it all the time. But that's the thing I love the most about basketball now, like the NBA 2K games, is building the expansion drafts. And same thing with the hockey games, too. It's just a lot of fun for me to pour over that. And then also, obviously, my MMO fix, World of Warcraft.
Are you still playing?
No,
Okay.
no, I haven't.
Yeah.
I
I was
stopped
gonna
way
say
before.
like that's a time sink game.
No
Like
way.
I highly doubt you were doing it at the moment.
It was kind of convenient because my guild kind of dissolved
Okay.
right before I was kind of ready to quit, and then they dissolved, and I'm like, I might as well just take the opportunity and get out of here.
Yeah, that's fair.
I was playing Lost Ark again for a while. I really enjoyed that. That was a lot of fun. But again, you talk about time sinks.
Yeah.
That's a time sink. Same thing with Destiny. I didn't use Destiny as a shooting game. I used it as like an MMO.
MMO.
experience, right?
Yeah. I'm the opposite for the most part.
But I used it to scratch that MMO itch, to that sort of grind itch that I really enjoy. To grind out.
Yeah, the lizard part of
guns.
your brain, numbers go up, more guns, more shiny parts. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. So that's kind of where I kind of bounce between, and then eventually, like once in a while, I'll throw in like a single player experience, an RPG. Obviously, when like a Pokemon game comes out, I'll go into there. If an RPG, like a Kingdoms of Amalur type sort of game piques my interest, I'll throw that on too. But I bounce around a lot. But lately, especially since I've been out of college, I've noticed that my time to play multiplayer games, especially fighting games, has dwindled quite a bit. Just because I was at a point where I felt really, content with my skills in those games because I was playing so much more. I was playing
Yeah,
like
yeah.
10 hours a day.
Yeah, you can actually dump time into something, get really good at it, kind of
Yeah.
deal. Yeah,
And then, now I only have, I had only like 5 hours to play or, 4 hours to play.
and even then, that's not even straight. You're like scavenging an hour, 30 minutes somewhere from elsewhere too, right?
Right. Well, then it goes down from there. I
Yeah.
was in grad school and working, so it was even less time. And then I moved in with my now wife, and time goes down there because you gotta be present.
Hmm.
And then your job gets busier. You pick up more side projects. You're doing different things. You want to have a life, right? So your practice time, unless you make it a priority, goes down.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
So that's kind of where I've been at for a while now. Like the only fighting game that I played online was Dragon Ball because I had played it for 5 or 6 years prior, so I had all the muscle memory.
Yeah, it's already kind of in your back pocket, basically.
And
at
it
that
was
point.
also the game I labbed all the time.
Yeah,
'Cause
yeah.
I like you said, I like seeing all the pretty colors and all the big beams and all
Yeah.
the numbers go up and
Yeah,
stuff like that.
I remember
So,
even a while ago when you were still not in the height of it. Was it the height? I guess when you kind of dragged me back into it. Remember?
yeah,
Like this is before the podcast actually. So
Yeah.
like because I had gotten into Eunice at the time.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I like anime fighting games again now. So because like the last anime fighting game that I enjoyed was Marvel vs. Capcom 2.
right.
It's been a minute since I've enjoyed like a hyper insane fast game like that
Yep.
for a while. Eunice came onto my radar through my boys from Canada because they're the guys who I play like Street Fighter with as well too. Whenever because they're more like closer to my level where we're like not we're like just above average. We're competent and like can
Yep.
handle our own, but we're not like
World beaters.
no, exactly. We're like, well, maybe Miggs isn't because he dumps a lot of time to fighting
Yeah.
games, or at least he was back in the day. I think now he's not as playing as much as right now, but yeah, we're like just above competent basically. And like it was like okay, cool, we're kind of in the same range ish. You know what I mean? I would say like if we were like going to use like a league thing here, we're like gold. You know what I mean? Like we're just above silver.
been
We're
there.
like we're just at a point where like okay, we're like decent at the game now.
Yeah.
Playing Eunice, I got pretty good, pretty decent at that. And then because I mentioned anime fighters, you brought me back into DBZ Fighters, and I remember this time it clicked more because now I had played another anime fighter.
Yeah.
And I understood how the combo system works and all this other stuff. And then I played it online, and then I was like, oh yeah, I forgot. The only people who are playing this game are people who only play this fucking game.
Yep.
So then I got humbled real quick again.
Yeah.
But at least I was able to like again kind of at least take a character off, you know what I mean, kind of thing at that point. So, and I remember that little bit of like kind of diving into Dragon Ball Z Fighters from you.
Right.
That was fun. That was a fun, like short, like what 2-3 months
Yeah.
before I got humbled, and I was like, I'm not playing this game again.
This sucks. I can't win all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's kind of where it's been, and it sucks because like I've always loved fighting games and
Yeah.
I've always loved the competition. Which is actually where the other sort of competitive game that I played a lot came in was Yu-Gi-Oh! Because it was
True.
easier for me to
Yeah,
pick
yeah.
it up, put it down. There wasn't as much of an execution component behind
Yeah.
it. Read no loud fight stick slapping
Yeah.
and all of that. So, but it scratched that itch for a while. I
Yeah.
mean, nothing beats fighting games for me, but Yu-Gi-Oh! Did its part for me to kind of scratch that competitive itch, and I was ranking plat. I was almost diamond a few times. Then just time got in the way, and I'm back down to like rookie or whatever it is now. I haven't even grinded ranked in a very long time. It's just been difficult, especially because the only place I can really play this game, because the mobile port is garbage. The only place I can really
Is
play
it?
is
Okay.
the mobile port for Master Duel is complete garbage.
Hmm.
So I can only play it on PC, but I'm not really on my PC post work
Yeah.
anymore. I'm in the living room. I'm walking around. I'm, on the couch, which kind of sucks, but it is what it is. And
Yeah, yeah.
So that's kind of where I've been at lately.
Yeah, because I was a little surprised that you just mentioned Yu-Gi-Oh! Now. I didn't piece it together. You never mentioned it, and you're currently playing. Because I always assumed like Yu-Gi-Oh! Would be better as an option to just pick up, put down. But now that you mentioned that the mobile port is like not great, okay,
Right.
that makes more sense now. Then okay.
The other thing too is like if I'm in the middle of like a competitive game, I don't want to, and like God forbid something, baby starts crying,
Yeah,
or I
yeah.
have to start feeding him. It's going to be difficult to balance that.
Yeah,
If it was
yeah.
just like a single player story experience, I could probably get away with it. But
True.
Unfortunately, that's not the case.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's rough, man. Yeah, it always feels weird when you come from in general. I guess in general, when you come from a game that you were like, competent if not good at. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And then have kind of just like fall from your grace essentially. But again, like it's because like life comes at you. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like it doesn't stop no matter what. And, you always end up kind of like shifting around depending on what your priorities are, right? But yeah, and of course your priorities are shifted. So of course your gaming choices, you
Hmm.
can't really go around grinding against like other people or making numbers go up.
Right.
Either one of those things are things that you can't swing at the moment. So it's like, okay, well, they have to kind of go on the back burner while you have your focus on something else,
Exactly.
which is perfectly fair. Yeah, absolutely, I get you. Um, so you for you again, mostly like fighting games. That's your whole bread and butter, basically, right?
Yeah, it was. It has been for a very long time. It's not going to go anywhere
Yeah,
for me.
I mean, yeah, it's one of those things like it'll come back. It'll come back once things free up, basically. Yes, at a
I
certain
agree.
point. Yeah.
I think so.
I guess for me, my in terms of like my gaming history, because I yeah, as a kid, obviously platformers, right? Because we come from Nintendo era, right?
Yeah.
Nintendo, Sega, Super Nintendo. Um, yeah, like I love those games, and basically everything, like all. And then when I got into, let's see, I want to say, yeah, mostly platformers. I got into fighting games as well, but they were different. I played 3D fighting games.
Yeah.
That's kind of like I'm pretty sure I've mentioned that at one point. In one of the game episodes where we talked about fighting games, where I grew up playing what is it, like Tekken, Virtual
Yeah.
Fighter.
Yeah. We played a lot of Tekken growing
Yeah,
up.
that was like my shtick. So like that's why it was like impossible for me to like understand the concept of a quarter circle for
Yeah.
for a long time. Even though funny actually, Dynasty Warriors 1, the original one, was a 3D fighting game,
Oh yeah.
and that actually had command inputs in there. It's kind of one of those things. I'm like, huh. So I know a little bit of this, and but it's been a minute since I've actually done so. But yeah, like again, like fighting games, a little again, not as like hardcore as you. I definitely was more in the range of like I'm like having fun with my friends, and that's really about it. I never really cared about getting really really good at it. Yeah, so I had shifted away from fighting. Again, I was more for fun. I was not really like good at fighting games, and I kind of acknowledged that very early on. Because I remember like as soon as I started playing with like friends who knew what they were doing, uh, I would get real aggravated real quick.
Same.
So I would just not play them.
Yeah.
I'm like, why would I want to be annoyed? Uh, the mindset changed, I think, when I got into shooters, and I was like, Nintendo 64. I want to say like Winback was like one of my favorite ones. The battle mode in Donkey Kong 64,
Hell yes.
which I know a lot of people clown on Donkey. It's weird. I found out a lot of people don't like Donkey Kong 64. I assumed that everyone loved it because apparently like everyone's just like, oh no, Banjo. The Banjo series was just better than it. I'm like, I don't know because I played way more Donkey Kong 64, and I love the battle mode. That was my shit. I love that. Like I love playing as fucking was it Tiny Kong in that one? Yeah, it's Tiny Kong in that because I'm the asshole who plays fucking
Odd job.
Odd Job.
Nice.
And also it's funny. Actually, I got a funny story about this one. So Odd Job, right? In GoldenEye, right? That was like the rule was that nobody plays Odd Job because you couldn't really aim the reticle back in the day, except for like standing still and aiming the thing down with the other stick, right? With the L and aiming the stick down towards their height level because everyone else is in the game. The way it's set up is that the crosshair is at head height, basically. There was like a confusing moment, which was funny now as an adult that I look back at it. Where like, oh, Lakan, you play Odd Job because you're Asian.
Yep.
And I was like, okay, sure, whatever.
Yeah.
I didn't realize, not realizing, like, especially early on, like, none of my friends realized, wait, Oddjob's not the same height as
He's
everybody
broken.
else.
He's busted.
So he's actually the one. So I was like, I looked back at it, I was like, huh. So I basically got, like, a buff to my character just because of the fact that we were, like,
You were Asian.
lightly, because we were lightly racist
Yep.
as children.
Also, GoldenEye
Yeah.
doesn't age well.
Absolutely not. Have you tried it since it got re-released recently or not?
No. So I will tell you this too. The first time I played GoldenEye was after playing like Halo and other
Oh,
twin-stick
that is
shooters.
unfortunate.
I don't know. I missed the boat.
Yeah.
Whenever we were playing it.
Yeah.
And I didn't play it. And then the first time I played it, I was like, "This is the game you guys love so
Yeah,
much. Like this sucks."
I look back at it now as well too, guys. It absolutely does not age well. The
Right.
control scheme is absolutely garbage. Even with like the modernized N64 controllers, like the Brawler 64 kind of deal, still doesn't. No, it's not. It's not a good game. Or at least not a good shooter. At
Right.
least with modern sensibilities. I think Perfect Dark as a game held up better than
Yeah.
GoldenEye. I think it just had more cool ideas that weren't implemented basically in GoldenEye. And I think that like third person shooters were better, especially back in the day. I think we're just better than first person shooters because no one knew how to do them yet. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? So like do you remember Winback?
Vaguely.
Yeah, so kind of like it was kind of like I don't think it wasn't I don't think it was a Nintendo property, but like it was kind of like another property trying to compete with like Metal Gear Solid.
Mhm.
Essentially, that's kind of what it was like. It was like a semi stealth third person shooter cover game kind of deal, and that also had a multiplayer aspect to it as well too, which we played a lot of on the N64 and I think it was on PS1 as well. I want to say
I
it was
think
on
you're
both,
right.
but I think on the PS1 it actually had voice acting because it
Mhm.
was a CD,
Yeah.
so it actually probably had the space for it. Yeah, so like when shooters came around, is one of those things that I really really enjoyed. I don't know what it was. I think it's because I had I still do to this day. To be fair, I have a fascination with firearms. Like I
Mhm.
love guns. That's my shit. And then like I got to a point where I thought I was good. Same thing.
Yeah.
And then like Halo came out, and then my circle of friends kind of like expanded here. Who I actually get to play games with, right? We're still playing locally, right? It's still
Right.
this is still before like proper like online play has been like implemented,
Mhm.
right? But I started going to like Zach's house and playing Halo with
Right.
them.
Well, that was the thing too. We so when where we grew up, we have like bunch of different elementary schools, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And then all those elementary schools fed into a singular middle school, right?
yeah, yeah.
So Halo came out about the time we were we were going to middle school, right?
2000. What year was that? 2000. I'm a bad gamer. 2003.
No,
2002.
one. Hold on.
I usually link like core memories to years of albums,
Yeah,
and for some reason like Ocean Avenue's yelling at me, which is 2001.
2001
There we go.
is when
Cool. Okay,
Halo,
I
the
knew.
first Halo came out. So 2001, obviously, that's we're in sixth grade.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
we're meeting people from the other elementary schools. Our
yeah.
group of friends has grown. So, like you're saying, different competition.
Mm-hmm.
We're kind of on the precipice of Xbox Live, right?
Aim it towards you a little bit more. There we go. Yeah.
Yeah, we're kind of on the precipice of Xbox Live, right?
Just barely, because there was like some sort of like weird kind of like workaround bootleg Xbox thing going on Xbox, the original Xbox.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you remember what that was called? Like Xbox Net or something like that? Oh my
X
god.
Connect.
X Connect. Holy shit. Oh my god. The fucking unlocked memory.
When you said net, I don't know how that just like
Oh my god, thank you.
X Connect.
X Connect. Holy shit. Yeah, that was the first time I saw that, and I think like only like Zach and Nate knew how
Yeah.
to do it. Because like it was like a weird workaround thing where like you would connect it to the internet, but not like
Not to Xbox Live.
not Xbox Live though. Yeah, or whatever they were calling it at the time. Because I don't think it was even Xbox Live still yet at that point, right? It might have been. I don't know for all I know.
I think it was.
But yeah, X Connect, because you weren't paying. So we were like basically we weren't paying for Xbox Live back in 2001, 2002 or
yeah.
whatever. Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah, so we got to different circles or expanded our circles of people who were playing video games with, like specifically like everything now, shooters, fighting games, right?
Yeah.
Because obviously those are the your friends. Now you're playing competitively versus playing like like a platformer by yourself, and you're just
Correct.
like, okay, well, oh, I got this really really fast. We also didn't keep track of our time, so like we're not.
Yeah.
It's not like we were like learning how to speed run.
We were not
before.
speedrunning
Yeah,
games, no.
no, we
Thank
weren't
God.
doing that. Yeah, I guess technically RPGs too, right? We would play Pokemon together. That's
Yeah.
the only way we can compete technically back in the day with RPGs, right? I guess so. That's also I guess that's also like another early experience for multiplayer for us. But I guess it's a very niche one specifically. Yeah, so shooters came out that expanded the circle. That's again same thing. I realized again I'm not as good as I think I am.
Yeah.
And that I think, but instead of like fighting games for me, that was like, well, now I gotta get better because also like the return, it was much quicker to notice because you can just start another game next weekend and play them again.
Yeah.
And like it wouldn't always be like against certain against one person I lose all the time. You know what I mean? It's like when we used to play Street Fighter 4 together, like locally, it's like okay, I can get past Zach occasionally, I can get past Buffa occasionally. Demetrius, probably not.
Yeah.
You absolutely not.
Yeah.
So like it was like, but because it's also you were dealing with like the chaos of like 4-player whatever, right? It's like okay, I can get my comeuppance or I can get my revenge much quicker versus like a fighting game. I think that's like what I enjoyed so much about it as well too. And then shooting games, and I kind of stuck to that genre for the most part. I still played like a couple. I played a lot of JRPGs when I was younger. Golden Sun. I played I played a good amount of the Final Fantasies. I 6, 7, play 8, bleh. 9,
Wow.
good. 10 and 10, love it. I don't care what anyone says. 10 is actually genuinely very good. 10-2, and
Banger theme.
good
Banger
music.
OST.
Good music.
Banger J-pop OST.
Game not great, but the
Doesn't matter.
yeah, but the music is fantastic.
Waifus and J-pop OST.
Yeah,
Awesome.
and yeah, and and yeah, 7 is bleh.
Eh,
Um,
I like 7.
yeah, I know a lot of people do.
Yeah.
Everyone considers it one of the greatest ones. I'm like, Legend of Dragoon. That's where I will. That's where I absolutely stand like my ground on. Like Legend of Dragoon was better than Final Fantasy 7. And it's funny because like with like, again like so shooting games and like JRPGs, for some reason that was my shtick for a while, and then I got back into like platforming games. I think around the time like when indie games started becoming more of a thing, like Super Meat Boy came
We all
out.
got in Super Meat Boy, yeah.
Yeah, so like I got back into platformers because of that, and then like again like going back from like a multiplayer to like a single player experience, and then I started moving away from story games. I started moving away from JRPGs
Yeah.
because I also got tired of reading.
Yeah.
So
Unga Bunga.
yeah, exactly. Unga Bunga, I can just play fast and run fast by playing Super Meat Boy, and I don't need lore.
Right.
Like we just move past it. So like and then became like a platformers and shooting games, and that became like my thing for a long time. I kind of just shifted from like big long games that like one long very what's the word I'm looking for? One long very curated experience from like an RPG or whatever, or like with the and then the competitiveness of a shooting game. I've come into nice little bite-sized pieces of like really intense platforming that I can play over and over and over again, get better at essentially. And that also kind of gives me that same kind of like unga bunga, I'm getting better at this game kind of thing. That's like it gives me back that response basically. So I've shifted from like longer experiences back to like a shorter, little more focused nuggets of experience. I've also moved away from playing like tac shooters like Rainbow Six Siege. I played a lot of Rainbow Six Siege, and I played a lot of MOBAs too, like League of Legends. And it's just because those games just take too long. So I switched over to games that just play much quicker, much faster.
The other thing too that always impacts me is like I just feel like beating Donkey Kong Country 2 again.
True.
So a lot of those games that I grew up playing are still relevant to me today because it's like with the Switch Online, you have the retro games, and then it's like, I'm gonna play Donkey Kong Country 2 again, and then I just play through and I beat it, or I play the first one, I play the third one, I play Super Mario World, Super Mario 3, all of that. And that's kind of been something that happens to me all the time. It's just like I watch a video about somebody playing Donkey Kong Country 3 or something, and then it's like, it's time to play that again.
I can pop that back in. Yeah, I was like, I can find a way to play that again.
Like, well, time to play that again. Yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's absolutely like I mean, that's like my whole that's one of like my side hobbies, right? The whole video game collecting thing.
Yeah.
I ended up picking up a lot of video games for the DS, the Wii, the 3DS, and a bunch of like PS1 games that I'd like lost over the years, and I kind of rebought them again. Like I would hop into them and kind of like just spend like a weekend playing them again. So like as much as like most of my games right now are kind of like on the computer, again like roguelikes, short, these little quick bursts of like entertainment that I can pick up and put down whenever I need to. Because again, like life is going wild around us. There's always so much going on work wise or whatever that is like if I can just squeeze in 30 minutes, I'll be perfectly fine. I'm good to go. And then like I'll find myself on kind of weekend, but like I can play through the entire Prince of Persia trilogy right now. You know what I mean? Which I have, and like because like, it's funny because I look back at those games now. They're kind of difficult still to this day, right? Even though I'm older and I'm more competent at video games. But the game it's funny because like Prince of Persia 1 is like you can beat in like 3 hours. And then you could beat 2 in like 4, and then you could beat 3, or like 3, 4, and 5 hours respectively each, essentially.
Yeah,
and it's like that was a weekend. That was it. Like I've gotten like 3 full games under my belt, and I was like, this is wild, especially now as adults looking back at like the games we thought were like insanely difficult, and we could just bash through them now.
That is exactly how I feel about Donkey Kong Country.
Yeah.
Because like I'll plow through the Donkey Kong Country games, and like I'll look at my playtime. It's like 2 hours and change, maybe 3 hours if I go do all the bonuses, and I'm like. I never saw past. I remember Donkey Kong Country 1. I never saw past. Remember the industrial level? I think I've talked about it before on this podcast.
You might have actually. Yeah, I think I remember talking about it before.
So it's like that Chem Rock Industries.
Yeah.
I never saw past that world.
Yeah, for a long time, since I was a kid. Yeah.
and you talk about breaking through, right?
Yeah.
You talk about improving and breaking through. When I was able to beat that level, when I was finally able to beat Donkey Kong Country, I think I was like 17.
Actually,
I was like,
yeah,
I was
yeah.
like
I was the
basically an
same. I
adult.
was the same way. I was an adult.
I'm like basically an adult beating this children's game finally
You're
after
just
2
you're
decades.
still gonna pop off real hard for it. Like, let's fucking go. I got it.
And I also remember the last world. I was like, wait, there's another world
Yeah.
after this? Shit.
I was in the same vein. Yeah, I was a grown ass man when I finally beat Sonic 2.
Yeah.
I think I was like 20 when I
Yeah.
beat Sonic 2. Oh, and I think I'm pretty sure I've told this story before too. The Aladdin game for the Sega.
Yes.
I
Yep.
beat it at like 23 years old. I'm very sure I was 23 years old when I beat that game. Because it was bullshit.
Yeah.
It was
Oh,
so difficult. But yeah, like I absolutely us like as adults now going back to our old libraries and be like, oh, 2 hours? That was it? Cool, I got it. I finished it.
I remember beating one of my all-time favorite NES games is a game called Kung Fu. I will always
Yo, Kung Fu!
I will stand for Kung Fu.
I love
at
Kung
all
Fu.
times.
I love Kung Fu.
I beat that as an adult.
I still haven't gone back to play it. I found the cartridge. I still haven't gone back to play it.
I finally beat that as an adult. I was like, oh my god, this is
I think it was like stage 2 or stage 3 boss where you kick the guy's head off and he comes back. I had no idea how to beat it. I still have no idea how to beat it because I haven't gone back to play it, as an adult. But I'm sure now if I could pop it in, I'm like, oh, I'm sure I'll realize the trick right away.
Yep.
But yeah, I should probably go back to Kung Fu, bro.
Just trying to think of like all these other games that I went back and beat. That's definitely something. If I was ever, God forbid, if we ever have another pandemic,
Yeah.
that is something that I would love to do. Is just do a whole series of games that I never beat as a kid.
Yeah, and go
going
back to
and
them.
beating them.
Oh shit, that'd actually be pretty sick. Yeah, you're right. That'd be a pretty good idea actually. That'd be something very easily we can put up onto the YouTube or whatever too.
Hell yeah.
That'd be cool. Hell yeah. Yeah. So like, yeah. Just to bounce back a little bit again. So like, for you was the big competitive edge. That was the fighting game competitive edge. That was your big focus when you were younger. Again, you shifted away from it a little bit more because obviously our time changed as an adult. We have things to actually do. We have responsibilities.
Mhm. And it's funny because I never really got the edge until I got to kind of like college, like when Street Fighter 4 came out.
Yeah, I remember you like not like disappeared, but like I remember like not hearing from you for a little bit, and because you were just like playing that game only. We weren't playing anything else with us basically.
Yeah, no, that was really, I don't know, something like kind of clicked, and I was like, you can either be the same that you've always been, the same skill level you've always been, or you can try to work and get better at it.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I, for the first time in my life, I decided to get better, work and get better at something and try,
Yeah.
and it paid off. And I will always thank Street Fighter 4 for awakening that and being like, see what happens when you study and you work and you
apply yourself,
right,
basically.
and you apply yourself, right?
Yeah.
How many more doors open for you?
Yeah.
And so that was kind of the thing. And then I come back and I'm just like waxing everybody.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, because
My bad.
It's literally like going to a fucking park for pickup basketball, and you just come, you just come back with like, oh yeah, here's my friends, LeBron. Excuse us? Like, what happened?
Yeah, my bad.
You like just came back. I remember we had like a hangout at Zach's house. Like you never gave up the controller the entire night until you had to go take a leak. And you would come back and just get the controller back. And it's like, cool. I guess we're just this entire thing is just like a boss rush against Jeff. That's this entire thing.
Sorry.
That was the entire night.
Sorry.
And it was like it got worse throughout the night because again we just kept drinking.
Yep.
so just like we get our ass beat harder and harder.
And that's actually where I started picking up other characters because I'm like, well, I have this opportunity. I might as well start to learn other characters and have some fun. And then I ended up doing that, and that's always fun. I feel like
absolutely,
to kind of apply yourself to other characters and expand your horizons.
Yeah, I actually I do have a little bit of a story regarding Street Fighter 4 as well too, because I remember there was a little bit when I got like that moment also came from me where like I have I'll sink my teeth a little bit more to Street Fighter 4 as well too. And I remember I got to the point where I think for the most part it was just you and me really playing that game at a certain point. And this is before Street Fighter 5 still. This is still before Street Fighter 5. So this might have been
this is like Super Street Fighter 4.
Yeah, because Arcade had already been done.
Oh, okay.
Wait, was it Ultra was the last one?
Ultra was the last one.
So probably would have been. Oh no, it might have been Super because I remember Ryu had you can do forward jumping medium punches to catch both. Yeah, to catch, and both would catch and would just chunk for stupid amounts of damage. It might have been Super actually at that point then. Yeah, because I think they took that out at Ultra. Yeah, so it would have been around Super. Was that the arcade? No, it was just called Super, right? Super Street Fighter 4.
Right, that was before Arcade Edition.
Okay, so it was right before Arcade Editions when I got back. So right before Arcade Editions when I got back into Street Fighter 4, playing it seriously. Not as much as you, obviously, but I got to the point where I was like, you know what? I came into Street Fighter super late. I came into Street Fighter during Street Fighter 2 HD Remix, which is right before Street Fighter 4 came out. So like, I'd come from 3D fighters to 2D fighters. I had no idea what the hell I was doing. I was getting my ass beat no matter what anyway. I was like, okay, I don't really care. And then Street Fighter 4 came out. We all kind of dipped our toes into it, some more than others, right, in our friend group. And then for some reason, I was like, you know what? I want to get decent at this game. So again, around 2009 or so, maybe, right? Is that Super?
That
Sounds about right. Yeah, I got into it, and then I remember like essentially like I'd finally learned how to lab, which is funny because I spent my entire time, especially around that time in college, practicing music.
Right.
I know how to practice, right. And I just refuse to apply it to like a video game for some reason. It's like, what am I doing wrong? I'm doing all the things. I'm playing everybody. I'm getting my ass beat. And I was like, oh, I don't actually fucking practice.
Right.
That's the issue. So I'd spent time actually learning how to do things. I had finally done all of Ryu's challenges. I'd done all of Goken's challenges, and I think I forgot who the hell else I was playing at the time. I think I was also trying to figure out who the hell am I playing.
Yeah.
So I just kind of like tried a bunch of other people as well. And was like, what is my play style? And I realized it's kind of like a defensive balanced gameplay is kind of what I prefer, which is why I played a lot of Goken. Because he also had a busted counter at the time, so I was like, yeah, I'll abuse this. And so we came back into the friend group, and I remember Bean was like, okay, I can actually take a match off of Jeff now. And then I remember just like the moment that Jeff had realized that I had come to a point where I can actually like take all round off of him. You did the gamer sit up forward and like refuse to let me hit you.
Sorry. Sorry.
Because again, like as I had gotten better and I had actually applied myself, you were still doing that at the entire time, but you already had a head start because you already jumped fully into that game at that point.
Sorry.
I just remember being like, yeah, let's go. I've got fucking progress going. And just immediately the next round, just gotten my ass beat.
It's still progress.
It's still progress.
It's still progress. Don't ever forget it.
Oh, God. I was like, that's like a core memory in my brain at this point. Again, at 19, just like learning how to fucking play Street Fighter 4 and finally feeling so hyped about it and then just immediately getting fucking humbled.
Sorry.
It was a good time. It was a good fucking time, dude. I still miss the days of us having those chances,
having that free time.
Just having the free time in general, right? Even like I remember we would go to Justin's apartment back before they still owned the house, right? We would play fucking Madden.
Yeah.
And it was just fun watching like all the boys just like shooting. What was the meme in our group? It was like just halfback rush, like everything.
Fullback dive.
Fullback dive. Like, just every third down. It's like fullback dive. This is like, bro, it's 3rd and 10. Yeah, fullback dive.
Fullback dive.
It'll work. It'll work. just the dumb moments we can get just from us hanging out and playing video games.
Having
together.
that time.
Yeah, just having
awesome.
time in general just to do that shit.
Yep.
Yeah, I fucking miss those shits, man. I mean, this sounds again kind of like the reason why we started the show in the first place, so we can actually have like a friend to, fucking play video games with and just talk to about it, basically. Because like again, very seldom am I able to like connect with the rest of our group about like something cool that I'm trying out for the most part.
Right.
So
I know it.
But yeah, anything else that you've been kind of playing like recently aside from the ones you mentioned before?
No, I mean that's really about it. Again, just time is at a premium these days. So for me, one of the cool things is just getting back into Dokkan because I played so much of it.
Yeah.
I took a break for a while, just needed to step away for a while, came back to it, and it's been fun to be able to. You don't think of a phone game as something that you're able to sort of have the same mindset with normal games where you're challenging high level events, right?
Yeah,
and you're able to clear high level events.
At least not like a casual crowd. They wouldn't be thinking that. A lot of people just think like phone game, Candy Crush,
right.
Subway Run or whatever, right? But
right,
no, there's a lot of like really like in depth like phone experiences, right? I mean, there's literally full on MMORPGs in phones now.
Yeah.
So there's absolutely proper gameplay there
and shooters and every. I mean,
yeah, absolutely.
There's PUBG, isn't there?
PUBG is there. COD is on there. Fortnite is literally like it's like they literally play against consoles, I believe, on phone, which is still confusing as hell to me. Apex has just died. They shut down the Apex mobile game, which is unfortunate because the Apex mobile game was actually pretty cool.
Rip.
Yeah, I know, sad times. But yeah, no, there's full on. I mean, like fucking like especially nowadays, right? Like full indie games are put onto phones now.
Yep.
Like Dead Cells is on there. Slay the Spire is on my phone.
Vampire Survivors is on there.
Vampire Survivors is fucking free, and it's such a good game to just pick up and put down. It's like a run is 30 minutes. If you die, whatever, who cares? Just start another run. It doesn't really matter. You just get better. You unlock more shit, and it's pretty fun just to play. It's a one stick shooter. Just fucking mess around with it. I think for me, again, since you said not really much for you aside from kind of getting back into phone game stuff. Yeah, no, you can actually absolutely get the mobile experience and actually have some fun with it and get actual enjoyment out of them.
Right, and I think what's cool is like when you have new characters that come out, because this is still a gacha game.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
You still have new characters that come out every time. Trying these new characters against some of the more difficult content in the game. So if I say the words, have you seen the movie? Did you see the movie? The new superhero movie?
Wait,
Dragon Ball Superhero.
Oh, Dragon Ball. Wait, that's the Gohan one, right?
Yeah, the one with Gohan.
Yeah, I saw. Yeah.
Okay, so like one of the most difficult fights in the game right now is you fight Cell Max.
Okay.
So it's always fun for me to try to take new teams into the Cell Max fight and try to beat it, right? Because it's legitimately challenging content.
Yeah.
What they also do is they have missions, so you have to beat. So like one of the missions I'm trying now that I have the Gohan from that movie, I never had him until this weekend. I picked him up with like one of the currencies in the game.
Mm-hmm.
You have to beat the Broly. It's called Red Zone. It's like a super difficult event. You only have 3 chances per day at this event.
Okay.
So one of the missions is I have to beat this event with one of each of the 5 types of characters. Basically red,
Yeah, I remember.
red,
I remember.
blue,
Yeah,
green,
the color
purple,
was
and orange or brown or whatever.
whatever the hell was. Yeah.
So I finally have my brown character.
Okay.
I have Ultimate Gohan.
There you go.
So I can finally try to do this challenge. I haven't done it because I've been busy the last couple of days, but I'm gonna try it today and try to beat the missions. And that's kind of helping with like the competitive edge.
Yeah.
Trying to clear. Think of it like in the post game fights in like an RPG.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
You have like the end game content, or even like World of Warcraft raid, like MMO raid.
Yeah.
That's kind of where we're at. I'm at like the end game of this mobile game that
Yeah.
you never would have thought, 10 years ago. You never would have thought this machine that has Flappy Bird and all these other little games.
Yeah, exactly.
Would have engaging sorts of high level content in it.
Mm-hmm.
But that's been kind of scratching the itch.
That's good.
And it's been a lot of fun, man. So I'm gonna definitely I want to try to get this Piccolo leveled up and awakened and all that. And I'm gonna try to do some stuff in this game. But that's kind of been where I've been at. Yeah.
Right.
I mean, with everything, outside of an hour here, an hour in Donkey Kong, an hour in South Park, an hour in DuckTales.
Pick up, put down again kind of games right now for you.
Yeah. Actually I probably have like 6 or 7 hours into that Street Fighter demo just because every time the baby's asleep, it's like that.
Yeah, like I got a couple hours. I can go and actually bang out a couple.
Let's
a
go.
little bit of time in here. Exactly, just grind some stuff out. Yeah. I guess the other thing for me recently, in terms of my gaming habits, is I've stopped collecting games as much because my collection is pretty solid. At least,
it's where you want it to be.
Yeah. Like I don't have the most extensive collection of it. I don't have every game that's ever come out on the Xbox 360. Like I'm not that kind of collector. I'm picking up games that were big in my childhood that I may have rented. That's the big thing. Things that I've rented and never owned. I'm like buying those games now. I still have to pick up a copy of Rystar. I think actually no, my brother might have a copy of that. For the Sega Genesis. A lot of the RPGs that I've had and then I lost them. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. I'm like, okay, I'm going to pick these up as an adult now. And I got my Holy Grail piece a couple months ago. I think we mentioned before when I got the Misadventures of Tron.
Yep.
And I'm like, what else do I buy? This is it.
That's
This is what I was looking for this entire time. Like I never thought that I would be able to own it, especially considering how fucking expensive that game was. You know what I mean? Like those were going for like $900 or so. Like not even sealed, just like $900, just like 600, like somewhere between 600 to 900.
Damn.
And then I got a copy of it. I'm like, where do I go from
now
here?
What?
Yeah, so I was like, I should probably start playing them.
So I was gonna say, did you play it?
Yeah, not yet. Because I'm gonna do the Mega Man Legends 1, 2 into Tron Ball. Even though technically it's like a spin side story / prequel, I think it was technically. I'm still gonna do them in order again because I've beaten Mega Man Legends 1 multiple times, 2 like 2 or 3 times I think I've beaten it, and I'm just like I haven't played these games in a long time, and I haven't had the chance to. So I'm gonna go ahead and pick these up, and because those are actually now that I'm better with time management as an adult and actually understand like how to schedule, like I can do like an hour or two of this and be like, cool, I've made progress. I'm content with that. I can move along to the next thing that I need to do. So I'm gonna do that. I started playing Castlevania finally for the first time.
Mhm.
As much as as much as I've talked about how much I love Dead Cells, I've never actually played Castlevania until I was
The first one?
ever. None of them. I've literally never
Oh,
played any of them.
you should play them.
So
They're really good.
I am playing. I'm actually currently playing Castlevania 1 on my modded Game Boy Advance little handheld.
He's
Eh,
showing it to me right now. He's
yeah,
clicking all the
there you
buttons. It's got a nice wood paneling. I really like it. What's the card here? Is this a?
It is the NES Classics Castlevania.
Oh, okay.
So it is basically the same game, just it has save states. So
Oh yeah.
if I die at level 10, I don't have to do everything back up to level 10 again.
That's one of the benefits of having like the collections, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So that's how I actually beat Castlevania 1 for the first time ever, was on the collection.
There we go. Yeah, like, and it's funny because again, like I played Dead Cells.
Yeah.
They literally had a collaboration with fucking Castlevania, and I'm like, why would I go back to play the Castlevania? Those games were slow and old and dumb because this one I have a dodge roll and I can also have a gun.
Yeah, and in Symphony of the Night you have things like that, and you get to turn into a bat and you get to shoot laser beams.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of other cool like that kind of like 2000 late 90s early 2000s era of Castlevania.
Yeah,
Is really sick.
I've heard very good things about it, and I'm still working my way through my back catalog at this point.
Yeah.
Essentially, currently playing 2. Confusing as all hell.
Yeah.
It seems like they took like the Link's Adventure type attempt of approach here. Apparently, like I've done a little bit of reading because I'm like, this game feels so different. Why is this like a semi-open world type of thing? And
Yep.
it's confusing because I'm like, where's my levels?
And then it turns to night and everybody tries to kill you.
and the music slaps.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I love the music. when you go to night, or like, what is it, like a terrible curse has come down?
What a
upon you?
horrible night to have a
Yeah,
curse.
yeah,
It's the
yeah.
Black Dahlia murder song.
I'm like, bro, it's so the music slaps, and then also everything's trying to kill me, but it's so good. So yeah, I'm at 2 right now. I'm still trying to figure out what the fuck I'm doing.
yeah.
I've also like seen it online that apparently the translation was bad, so that's what makes that game so confusing. So I'm trying my best to not like spoil it and ruin it for myself. Unfortunately, like I do have to like look occasionally when I see something, I'm like, I don't understand exactly what they're talking about. I will go on to like just look up specifically what I saw in the box. You know what I mean? To see if there's like a better translation of it, like a modern translation of it kind of deal. And then I don't even know what's after that. But I have Symphony of the Night on my phone. It was like $3, so I was like, I'll just buy that. Why not? So I bought a little Bluetooth controllers that I can play with it on the go.
Yep.
And then I also bought the Advanced Collection on Steam.
Yeah.
I think I bought it. Yeah.
That was the one I was looking for forever. Circle of the Moon. I had Circle of the Moon on Game Boy Advance. I have no idea where it went. Our friend Bubba picked me up a copy, and I was
sick.
playing it for a while. I'm at like the final, like the last kind of cusp of the finale there.
Yeah. Okay.
I just have to probably go through and beat it one of these days. But
When does the game become like the one that I see in my mind of like you walking around navigating the castle? When does it start becoming that
Symphony of the Night is literally the Metroidvania.
of the games? Okay.
Yeah.
Are you playing as Alucard? You're playing as
That's
Alucard?
Alucard.
Okay. So it's Castlevania 1, 2, Simon's Quest, and then what's after that?
There's a third one.
There's a third. Okay.
And then
And
there's,
then
and
Symphony
there's
of the
like Dracula X. There's like all the Super Nintendo ones.
Okay.
And then you get into the
Game Boy Advance stuff.
then you get the PS1, and then
PS1.
it becomes
Oh, okay.
like Game Boy Advance. and all
Gotcha.
that.
Gotcha. So how many games is it before it actually becomes like a Metroidvania style?
I think you got some ways.
Shit,
go.
are you serious?
Yeah,
So they were all level based essentially early on.
kinda.
Kinda. Okay. Shit. Damn. Okay. So here's the thing. Yeah. Now as an adult coming back to this series, I'm like, there's so much like, not lore, but like so much like game knowledge that I'm like missing. Basically, like when I'm playing these games, I'm like,
Oh yeah.
I have no idea where the hell I'm supposed to go after this. Basically, so I'm
Uh-huh.
like, okay, cool.
By design, too. By the way.
Yeah,
because
I'm
you were
sure.
supposed to buy the strategy guide, or you're supposed to call
Yeah.
the telephone line that charged you $2 per 5 minutes.
Yeah, whatever the hell it was back in the day. Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. And you had to play them all in order. You had to buy them right away so that you still kind of remember what you were doing in the previous game, basically.
Correct.
Yeah. So I'm coming to this as an adult now. I'm like, I have no idea what the history of this game is, basically. Which is I guess kind of a cool experience in its own self, right? Because I'm just playing this game, kind of experiencing like this is old school, like platforming, side scrolling action. This is great.
This was your intro to like difficult platforming kind of action adventure. kind of
Yeah,
thing,
and much
so-
slower too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because again, I grew up playing like the Mario games. I
Right.
played Mario 1, 2, and 3.
No run button.
No run button in this one. And also like climbing upstairs is super slow. I'm like, holy shit, how does anyone fucking play this? And then, and it took me like legitimately like 2 nights of playing this game to like finally click in my brain. I was like, okay, like why am why am I approaching this game not like smart, not deliberately? I'm trying to just like rush through this game thinking, oh, I just got to catch up. No, I was
Right.
like, no, play it and enjoy it and think of how the game actually works within its systems kind of thing. And it took me like 2 whole days to get to that point.
Right. Because you're thinking of it as like an old game.
Platformer, like you
Right.
just
An
get through
old
it. Yeah.
platformer that you can just kind of speed through. And also probably because you've seen high level play of this at like
Yeah.
ADGQ or something like that.
Not realizing the little intricacies of everything that they're doing, basically.
Exactly.
Yeah, which is honestly what it comes down to for me, especially with these older type games. I mentioned this to you maybe I think I mentioned this to you about after the PAX recording, where I would play demos, and I know that they're timed. You know what I mean? They don't, because there's a crowd. You know, they have to try to get as many people to try their games as much, right? I would spend my time trying to like run through the game as quickly as I can or get as far as I can before the time ran out. Meaning, like, if I realize that there's a dash, I check if there's an air dash. You know what I mean? Can I air dash into landing and then dash immediately again afterwards, kind of thing. That's how my brain works now, especially because I play a lot of games like Dead Cells, where it's like, okay, you jump, dodge, roll in the air to gain a little bit speed. It doesn't maintain. You know what I mean? And then you get to the ground, roll again because it speeds you up again. You know what I mean? It's kind of like roll spamming in like Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. You know what I mean? You just learn one exploit to just move faster, and then you just do that basically. And having to slow myself down to play these older style games is like such a weird foreign thing to me again.
Fun challenge.
Yeah, it's fun though. It's very, very fun. I guess the whole point of this whole tangent was that I'm finally going back to playing my old games now that either I haven't played in a while or like legitimately I just missed. Like the big thing that started this whole video game collecting thing for me was Kirby.
Yeah.
I missed an entire like everything from like the DS on. I didn't play any of the Kirbys.
Same.
So I was like, why don't I go pick all these up? Because I heard Canvas Curse was really good, and it is. It's fantastic. I love Canvas Curse. Mass Attack is very good, very cute. You just play as 10 tiny Kerbos.
Yeah.
Planet Robobot is really good. And it's like, I just missed a bunch of these. What am I doing? How come I didn't play Amazing Mirror on the Game Boy Advance? I missed a lot of these games. So that's kind of what started my whole video game collecting thing. It's like now I'm playing through like my collection at this point.
Yeah.
It's like okay, it was interspersed with like the PC gaming, the Steam Deck gaming, the stuff that's like mobile I can kind of do on the go. It's like, okay, I can also like chunk away at like my old console like collection at this point now, which I'm trying my best to do. But yeah, that's my kind of current history at this point, or current gaming habits at this point.
Cool.
Anything else you want to do here? I guess we covered a lot.
Yeah, this was a very dense conversation, but you know what? We'd love to hear what you, listener, right now, what you think. What have you been playing? What are you into? Let us know by all means. Interact with us on Spotify. Interact with us on Twitter, on Instagram. Let us know, what are you playing? Have you had a different experience with something that we've enjoyed or something that we didn't enjoy? Let us know by all means. If there's anything on your minds, please let us know. Help steer the conversation. We will do anything you tell us to a point.
To a point. No feet pictures.
No.
Unfortunately.
I don't. At this point, I don't think anybody wants to see that.
I've got some pretty nice feet.
No. Not mine.
Okay, well there. Okay, so go ahead. Go ahead and again rate us 5 stars. Give us a thumbs up on whatever audio platform you're currently listening to us on. Again, interact with us on all the social medias. We do check on those. We really appreciate it. Share with us. Share us with a friend.
Yeah.
Again, more listeners. Our there's more and more of you guys every time we put out every episode, and we genuinely appreciate that fact.
Seriously.
That you guys are actually like tuning in and then seem to enjoy what we do. So
yeah,
very
at the
much
rate
so.
it's going, this might be our day job one day. So.
Eventually, yeah, that'd be cool. It'd be very, very nice for us. And we thank you guys very much for tuning in for this episode. And we are going to see you at the next episode. It's going to be our anniversary episode. I'm just going to give you guys a heads up about that one. It's almost been a full year that we've been doing this, and we're very happy with that fact. And we're going to get really into it on our next episode.
See you then.
Take care. Yeah, we'll take a moment. Is it that chair? Or do you want it?
Yeah, it's definitely the chair,
Okay.
but I could definitely.